Hello everybody, today is April 7th, 2018. The last video was actually April 5th, even though I said March. Anyways, this video will be about my thoughts reflecting back on all my experiences, all my understandings, all my experiences with 5G. I have gone through different phases of dealing with 5G, and at this point in time, I have evolved to a level of understanding of why it really exists that I never had before. Once again, credit to Bodhi Mantra channel. Why? Because the previous video that I made, I talked about ancient cultures literally created the pyramids to create an electromagnetic field around the earth. Well, right now we have the 5G frequency grid, which is an electromagnetic field similar in purpose to the pyramids all around the world, at least in the Western developed countries, the ones that have money. Well, actually, I don't know. It might be everywhere, even in poor countries. I don't know. I guess I need to take some trips in the future to figure this out. How did I become aware of 5G? Well, ironically, there's a lot of synchronicities that occurred, which I've learned over time to pay attention to. This is what happens when you question yourself all day long about the truths of this reality. When you don't take the answers that are given to you from a different source, but you analyze within yourself the questions that truly matter to you until you figure out the answers. So, how did it start? January of last year, I started listening to high frequency music. Why was I doing that? Because I was trying to activate my pineal gland, and one of the options listed was that by listening to high frequency music, you decalcify the pineal gland. And how is it calcified? Because of fluoride. That's why fluoride is in the water supply, okay? Watch the videos in the Bodhi Mantra channel and you will see how fluoride even came into existence. Just so you know, sodium fluoride is a byproduct of the manufacturing process of aluminum. It is extremely expensive to get rid of. And someone figured out in the 40s, I believe, that if you add sodium fluoride to the water supply, it will make people very passive. In other words, it's literally a poison introduced into the water supply on purpose to have, in a sense, the effects of a drug on all people that drink the water. And the side effect, or the effect rather, there are no side effects. The effect, the intended effect is to make you not question anything, okay? That's what fluoride is all about. I lost my train of thought. Let's see if I can backtrack. So right, I was trying to decalcify my pineal gland, and I started to search on YouTube for videos that have high frequency music, and I came across some Native American music that really appealed to me. It just, the vibrations, the rhythm, the frequencies presented in that video, it just resonated with me. It made me go into a state of mind where I just felt right. But the first time I did this, one of my teeth shattered. It's still shattered. Half of it. That's when I knew there's true power with frequencies. And I figured it's going to work on my pineal gland. And then, as the days went by, I started to learn more. And eventually I realized, holy shit, I am learning so much more every single day compared to the previous day, that I am evolving even in the way that I accumulate knowledge. It's no longer a go to work, come home, watch, I don't know, half an hour video about some history, whatever, truth, whatever, and then watch a movie or play video games and not watch anything else. No, it's not like that anymore. And over time it became an hour that I would dedicate to learning things. Eventually I would dedicate even more time. Now I dedicate all day. And how do I dedicate all day? Well, because knowledge is not only found on YouTube videos, which I happen to watch a lot of, just trying to figure out the truth. Others have figured out components, I'm trying to put them all together, apply them to myself, turn knowledge into wisdom, and as I'm doing it, hopefully do it in a way where I can help others do it as well. That is the purpose of these videos. Just to empower everyone that wants to know what is going on in our world, how to improve our lives, essentially, in a way that it works out for all. That's all it's about. Living in harmony, peaceful relationships. Like, too many people are walking around, even though they have a lot of material possessions, they're walking around like they're dead inside. They lie so much in their day-to-day lives that they can't even be honest with themselves anymore. It's too painful, right? So they're always disconnected from self. So they're always suffering from cognitive dissonance because all their information is retrieved from the outside, external sources, because they are disconnected from self. Walking zombies. And then there are a small minority like myself that have begun to open their eyes, or already have eyes wide open to what's going on. And what's going on is criminal. What's criminal is that there is a few people at the top of the ladder, which is considered the world pyramid, the few that control, manipulate this reality as they see fit. And the major component of controlling reality is by programming everyone's minds. Well, these individuals account for less than 2% of the entire world population, and they are the Khazarian Jews. Okay? They are followers of the Talmud. Now, Talmud is kind of like the Bible for Christianity. Why is the Talmud bad? Well, I've never read it. In fact, I'm probably going to listen to an audio version of the Talmud very soon, just so I can figure out word for word what it is that they're talking about. But one of the components is human sacrifice, okay? First of all, they have this kosher habit. And what is kosher? All their meat has to be kosher. What does that mean? It means the animal has to be bound by the feet and its neck cut and then let the neck bleed out, which is a very painful and cruel process for the animal, okay? This is sacrifice in a sense. But more than that, the Talmud encourages human sacrifice, okay? And how do I know this? Because, well, proof's so out there, just read the freaking thing. But throughout history, in Europe, they got kicked out of countries at least 140 times because they got accused of human sacrifices. And what did they do? They used to get babies, kill them, drain their blood for their ritualistic ceremony whatever they do. And the babies will later be found and see that they were poked full of holes, stabbed like a million times, and they would be turned into saints. A lot of babies got turned into saints. These are the people that control the world, okay? These are the people you listen to when you listen to the news. These are the people you read when you read a book. These are the people that enforce the law in this country, okay? So you have to remember, if you don't believe me, seek it out, learn for yourself. It's all on Bodhi Mantras channel. They don't consider everyone who is not like them equals. They consider themselves superior to the rest of us. As such, for at least 3 centuries, they have implemented ways of controlling us, okay? So, as my pineal gland started to decalcify, I started to accumulate vast amounts. I probably learn now more in one day than I used to learn in an entire month 5 years ago. That's how much knowledge I accumulate daily. And I accumulated through every experience of life that I have, because I'm always questioning everything, even my senses, okay? So, they have controlled the world through manufactured words, like he said, she said, that kind of thing. Oh, Germany said this. Oh, the United States said this. Oh, England said this. Oh, blah, 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 blah. But in reality, it was always the Khazarian Jew mind saying, attack that place, attack that place. You want international banking, accept this paper currency, accept these frequencies. See, all that stuff. It's them. It's always been them, to maintain control, because they see themselves as superior to the rest of us. And this is not anti-Semitism, because all you have to do is read the Talmud, okay? Human sacrifice is accepted to them. We humans who are not followers of their religion are potential sacrifices, okay? I am not afraid anymore. Now, one aspect of frequencies is dual weapons, direct energy weapons. And if you want to know more about that, Deborah Tavares is the leading voice. She talks all about the silent war. Brilliant, just brilliant lady, okay? But dual weapons set fires to Napa Valley not too long ago. They were so intense, those houses literally became dustified, okay? They became dustified to the point where it was just a thick cloud of ash. Literally, just ash. Dust, ash. It was so fine. And I live south of Napa Valley, about an hour away, driving. It came all the way here. I inhaled the remains of dead people. So you see, death came from above to unsuspecting people. Any one of us can be a target at any point in time. I refuse to live in fear. If this is my last moment alive, then I'd rather be feeling pleasure, okay? Now, this is about internal frequency control, because remember, your thoughts are frequencies. The thoughts you put out are the frequencies that resonate through your body. Now, when you speak, you intensify the strength. When you sing, or om, or whatever, you intensify the strength even more. It's kind of like raising the volume on your TV, right? So the more you raise it, the more it reverberates through your body. And that's how probably the chi practitioners that can release energy are able to release energy. They figure out how to increase the frequencies through either sound or some other process. I'm still working on that too, because I will be able to do that eventually. I just know that I am. For now, I'm just able to heal myself. Going back to frequencies. So, eventually I started running. And when I started running is when I started to notice the Gwen Towers. And when I started to notice the Gwen Towers is really when I really started to learn a lot about frequencies. Especially Deborah Tavares. She's a hero. I was running 3 hours, 4 hours at a time at that time, 2 or 3 times a week. And I would pass by them, and with my consciousness, I would challenge them. I know it sounds crazy, right? I would challenge them to try to take control of my mind or body. Because at that time I saw it as training. I saw if I'm bombarded by the frequencies emitted by these Gwen Towers, which are totally toxic, and if I'm able to fight against them, I'm getting stronger, right? I'm training myself to put out higher frequency thoughts, right? Well, one day I was running back home, and I was in a section where I was thinking to myself, what if these motherfuckers would attack me with frequencies directed at my knee to mess my knee up? I thought that would be hilarious. I would know for sure if they're attacking me because I just thought about it and they read my thought. So if they're gonna attack me and that means they read my thought, that means that I have the power to heal it. That's why I'm not concerned with it being attacked. Because it's all about the control of the frequencies within your body. You see, your physical body still responds to change. It's just an internal process, so we can't see it, but we definitely feel it. Five minutes later, I take a wrong step, or perhaps it was the right step. And as I take that step, I feel a crunch in my left knee. That crunch is like, oof. And I instantly knew something got messed up in there. And I thought to myself, no more hospitals. I don't want to go to a hospital anymore. And even if I did, I would not have the money to do so. You see, in my awakening process, I have abandoned all what means society, okay? I have come to realize that the medical industry doesn't do shit. Most of the drugs they administer are simply placebo effects. You believe you're getting better because of the drug, but in reality, you're getting better because you were brainwashed to believe you're getting better by the drug. In reality, it's all the power of your mind, right? So I refuse for multiple principles to accept the idea that I may need to go to a hospital for surgery. And I told myself instantly on the spot, no, Raymond, you are going to walk this off. You're going to stop running. This is enough for today. But you are going to walk home and you are going to heal this knee and it's going to be all better. And what happened? Within a few days, it was 100%. Two or 3 days later, I went for a bike ride to test it out. I felt a little discomfort, but I knew I was okay. And 2 days later, I went for a run. And I felt some pain, but I fought through it, reminding myself that, look, Raymond, the frequencies introduced into your knee are not your own. They are an introduced pain. Therefore, because it's not part of you, you do not acknowledge it as part of you. Therefore, the pain never existed in the first place. So here's what I believe is happening. The 5G grid was initially installed by the Khazarian Jews that control the world as a control mechanism. Initially, it succeeded. It brainwashed everybody. Everybody got brainwashed. Everybody. And I think it really took off with the 9/11 attack. That's when it really started. And then about 10 years later, around 2010, I really started to notice the chemtrails. So ever since then, there was a heavy amount of chemtrails. I felt myself getting more negative over time. I saw it happen in the work environment. I saw it in the family. I saw it on TV. I saw it everywhere. It's like everybody was losing their minds. And eventually I connected the dots that the chemtrails that are coming down from the sky have nanobots in them. How do I notice? I saw some YouTube videos of the nanodust that comes from chemtrails magnified like 400 times. The guy had a 400 times zoom, and you could see that these things were alive, artificial intelligence. They were wriggling, and they were growing over time, and they were making towers, and they were even within the DNA. So in a sense, you could say that we're building a third strain of DNA in the human body, an artificial strain, to make us more easily controlled. Well, I'm pretty sure it's still growing inside me as well. But here's the thing. Initially, I saw frequencies or high frequencies as bad, poison for humanity to control our minds, brainwash us easier. But over time, I realized that by training myself to fight against them, I'm constantly elevating the frequency of my thoughts, constant, normal state of being thoughts, my perception of reality. So in doing so, I'm creating, in a sense, a neutralizing effect on the frequencies coming from the 5G. So, in essence, this nano dust that grows as artificial intelligence inside your very DNA is transmitter receiver. So I figured, all right, I've been receiving all these messages for who knows how long, telling me how to be negative and self-destructive and lead me to the point where I am today, where I have $40,000 in debt, 35,000 of that being school loans, and refusing to pay them because first and foremost, I will never work again for the corporate system, and I will never ever pay taxes again for the corporate system, and I will never ever pay any money they think I may owe, because in reality they owe all of us everything, because, in case you're not aware, in 1933 they passed the Emergency Banking Act, okay? There's a man that talked about this. His nickname was the Last Minute Man. He was in Congress, so he knew all about it. And he's the only one that spoke about it. And he was sent to jail. What was his name? The Last Minute Man. But he stated that the Emergency Banking Act of 1933 dissolved the federal government because it was declared insolvent. In other words, the money could not be repaid. So instead they instituted the Federal Reserve Bank, the central bank, okay, which controlled the money supply of this country, okay? Well, the money supply of this country became the human bodies, okay? We became the collateral, or in essence, the vessels that were expected to repay the debts over the course of their lives through the amount of work they put in. And the gold and silver standard was removed. Human beings became the collateral. So what was implemented was the Social Security account system, where everyone who is a citizen of this country was given a number, kind of like of how you brand a cow. More so, everyone also has a birth certificate with more numbers, but also a name of birth. Well, that name of birth is in all capital letters and becomes your straw man. Your straw man is your legally dead entity at birth. Your physical body. Your physical body is considered dead. That's why every American today, every patriot, is really an expatriate, because your body does not belong to you, okay? This system became so powerful that it took over the entire world, virtually. Everywhere there is paper currency, the straw man laws apply, okay? Because the gold and silver standard of the world was removed. Just like the golden age, silver age, those standards were removed. Do you understand? The Kali Yuga age standards were introduced, big time. Paper currency. And paper currency really started to exist in the 1200s, I believe, with the Knights Templar. Anyways, my consciousness, your consciousness, we're just light beings, frequency light beings, okay? And what I mean by light beings is that in the beginning, there was everything, okay? Everything is what we consider God. Everything that exists right now is God. Every reality, every face, every human being, all of us together, every brick, every rock, everything is God or Godhead, okay? We all exist all at the same time. So God or Godhead is light. Light manifested as good, light manifested as bad, light manifested as yin and yang. Unite the two, it's both. We human beings are both, okay? Our consciousness is both. We have the free will to determine whether the frequencies we put out, our thoughts, and the frequencies we tune into are good or bad, loving or not, caring or not, hateful or not. We control that. There is no real good and evil per se as a unified thing, because it's an individual thing. We all determine what thoughts are going to be good to us and what thoughts are going to be bad to us. So we have the free will, right? But we forget that we have free will because we're brainwashed all the time by 5G. So as I started to grow stronger, I realized 5G no longer has an effect upon me. So what if I figure out a way to get through the 5G, to reverse the tide in a sense, to impose myself upon the 5G. And I figured if I have all these AI nanodust beings inside my body creating a third strand of artificial DNA already, well, how about I become the transmitter and the 5G becomes the receiver, okay? So I've grown to a point where I'm no longer a victim. I'm a self-empowered, even though in their system, I owe a lot of money, which may lead to consequences. If that ever happens, I will be prepared, because I learned by fighting 5G that perhaps there's a good influence out there. So just like there's the Khazarian Jews, there's their counterpart out there trying to right wrongs, to make things right. And perhaps they figured, okay, let the evil guys build their 5G, and once they poison enough minds, we'll just take over it and show everyone how their minds were poisoned. Who knows? Maybe that's what happened. So in a sense, looking back at 5G, the end result is good for me because I am self-empowered. But initially it started off as bad because I felt like a victim and I was manipulating myself into thinking things and doing things that were negative to myself without even realizing that I was doing it because I was not fully in control of my consciousness. But now that I am fully in control of my consciousness, I am able to analyze everything for what it is. And I see so many lies and so many deceptions everywhere that I look that it's become super easy to determine when I see truth. And this is why I'm putting out this video. Hopefully, by explaining the process I went through, it will help you through your process of understanding who you are and how to self-empower yourself. You see, I want a better world where no one suffers, no one feels pain, no one has to be sacrificed, no one feels stressed because they're in debt out of their minds for their entire lives, never able to make ends meet, always overworking, always overindulging in the pleasures of life to make up for all the pain that you may feel. I want a world in which everyone is happy. And in this happy world, suffering just doesn't exist. We've just had too much suffering for far too many generations. None of us really know what a paradise is, what a really happy world is. None of us will ever know unless we try. And the way you're able to try is by empowering yourself first, by realizing they are trying to manipulate you every single day, every single moment of your existence, and that it's up to you to figure out how you fight against it in your own way. And keep in mind, it all starts with knowledge. Before you have wisdom, you must accumulate knowledge. So if you haven't seen any videos about frequencies, if you don't understand how they work, if you don't understand their purpose, well, Bodhi Mantra channel is a good place to start. But definitely Deborah Tavares, she is the voice on the subject. I want everyone to be strong. Strong in a good way, a happy, loving way. No hate, no fear, no pain.